equipped with the gorgeous microphones that our hoverbots have. So we're going to try to use our best theater voices. And when you ask us questions, if you wouldn't mind using your diaphragms as well. And we'll try to repeat the questions so that you can all see what's been asked. We're so happy you're here. You just got to see our favorite story. The title of the show at one point was called My Favorite Love Story, which it is. I'd like to introduce you to Huynh, who is one of our cast members. A standby for Oliver and for James. I am Justin Scribner, and this is Sarah Harris. We are two of the stage managers. So a few others are going to join us when they're ready, but for the time being, I guess we have 25 minutes or so to share with you, and would love to know what burning questions you have for us. Yes?
Okay, I just want to say hi. I very long time ago, we did Gypsy together.
Yes, we did.
I was the
No way. Yes, we did. Oh my God, thank you so much for being here.
I don't know. I just want to say hi.
Well, Stephen, while we're waiting, can you maybe tell us where you went to school? Maybe you guys all tell us where you went to school. So we're an educational company, so
yes.
That was, of course, one of our issues. But can you start by telling us where you all went to school?
Yeah, so I went to Baltimore University for my Bachelor of Music and Music Theater degree. I graduated in 2021 and moved right to New York City the following month during COVID when rent prices were a lot lower.
Oh yeah. Sarah Harris again. I went to college in Arkansas, actually for nursing for the first year and a half before I became a theater major. I only have a BA in theater, went to a very small private college, and then got an internship first at Berkshire Theater Group and then La Jolla Playhouse. And that is kind of how I started my journey. Justin?
I'm from Washington, D.C. What did you say?
Which college in Arkansas? Harding University. Yeah.
I'm from just outside of Washington, D.C., in Arlington, Virginia, and so there are a lot of great state school options in Virginia, but I had dreams of going to a big school that was not anywhere near home. And I was interested in teaching theater. And when I interviewed at VCU in Richmond, Virginia, the woman who would become my mentor at school saw my binder from directing The Miracle Worker in high school, and she said, "Oh, you're a stage manager." And I said, "Absolutely not. I don't know what that is." And she changed my life. And I went and bought a book on stage managing and got a BFA in stage managing and moved to New York, hoping to just be able to afford a lifestyle working as a professional theater artist, not actually having the goal to work on Broadway. And I made a dream come true that I didn't know I really had by working in theater. But Sarah and I have worked on this show for 7 years in development and through the Atlanta production. And Sarah and I have worked together for 9 years on a bunch of other projects as well. This show, for those of you who don't know, just to give you a little bit of backstory on this show, it was originally written in 2014 by our two writers, Will Aronson and Hugh Park. Ellen J. Shea! Park is born and raised in Korea and came to school at NYU here, and that's where he met Will Aronson, who's American, and the two of them both speak English and Korean, and so they wrote a musical, brand new original musical, not based on a book, not based on a movie. This show that you saw in 2014, it was done for the first time in Seoul, Korea in 2016. In Korean, a similar but not same production. We call it a sister production because it's many different, 3 actors, only 3 actors instead of 4 different songs, all in Korean, 20 minutes longer. Claire breaks down a lot more.
Falls off by her.
Yeah.
I can't really wrap my head around how they did that, so.
But it was that production that then they did a reading of in English. It won a big award in 2017 for Promise, and then Broadway producers got involved, and we did an out-of-town tryout in 2020 in Atlanta, and we were headed to Broadway in 2021, we thought, and the pandemic hit. And so it took us a couple extra years to get here, but 2024 we opened last year, and we've done 300 and something performances now.
Questions now. Who up here, please?
I just want to say you were fantastic. Like, the song and everything, you were just all of you. That's the goal. My question is, what was the transition like from working with MTCA to going into college, and how did that help you?
Totally. I was thinking about you all so much while I was doing this because, well, of course, I mean, look at this. This is amazing. I was so scared when I was in your position. I think I started when I was a senior, which I think some of you might be sophomores, juniors, ahead of the game. And my family didn't know how to help me. I knew I had a dream, I knew I had passion, but I didn't know how to get there. And actually, I went to see a production of In Transit, and I went backstage to go say hi to people, and I told Telly Leung that I was interested in this, and he was like, here's a card, and on it was MTCA's contact, and so that's how I found you guys. And then I did the mock auditions, I did the coachings. I just kind of wanted to put all of my anxious energy into something forward. And so, like, when I had my coachings with Leo, he said basically which all things that you probably know, which is having at least three schools in like a safety and a target and a reach, and it helped me put something that like is so out of your control to feel like you have some semblance of it. And it helped my parents a lot because they wanted to help me, but they didn't have the tools. I met a friend of mine who I've now seen at auditions. Alex Fink was my coach, and she like took a song out of her book to put it in my book. And she's like, you're gonna use this at an audition, we're gonna see each other one day, and that literally happened like maybe 2 months ago. So all this to say that I think MTCA is a great place, and not just MTCA, just like moving forward things and pursuing your dreams and being like, is this something that I want to do? How do I make that happen? Who do I have to talk to who knows maybe a next step? And then it's just each next step and each next step. You can't really control all the world around you. But yeah, so I auditioned for I think 14 or 15 schools. I used Unifies. I traveled, which was amazing, and I think my BW audition through like I used all of these resources at hand to try to just cast my net. To cast my net, and then long story short, I went to Michigan. And I would say something that the biggest thing that I learned at MTC actually was like, you're also auditioning the school for you, which I don't know, it just kind of was really mind-blowing to me to think. I thought that I had to be something to shift and chameleon myself to fit whichever school that I was really excited about.
And then you think about it, and then you're in a school for 4 years, and you're the chameleon version of yourself that you tried to mold yourself into, and that's not your authentic self, and then you're stuck. And then it's also a really expensive lesson to learn for 4 years. Like, this is a big moment, and not every school is going to be right. They're all so vastly different. So, yeah, I think it was also a chance. Audition season for me was a way for me to understand how the different programs could serve me. And then it was a partnership. And then auditioning became kind of fun because it was like, maybe I'm not fit for this one. And it doesn't have to feel like a rejection. It just has to, then it's just, you're not right for it. And you probably wouldn't be happy if you ended up there anyway. So, yeah, now I'm on top.
I feel very strongly about this. I don't know what the age group is here or what the position everybody is in or out to be, but I feel very strongly about this. It does not matter where you go. It is full stop. It doesn't matter wherever. Like, it's what you do when you're there. Whether it's the place you thought you wanted to go or a place you maybe didn't think you'd go to. It's what you do there. By the time you reach any professional circumstance, be it or applying for a secretary job at a dentistry, like, it's, no one's gonna be like, wait, hang on, before we actually say that we want you, where did you go to college? Like, no one's really gonna do that, and if they do, you're like, wait, is that how we're sizing me up here? I thought it was because I was smart, knew what I was doing, and I was a good person. So I don't want to say it doesn't matter. Of course it matters. It's a huge investment. It's a lot of your time. But I think, especially for artists, the reason why I say it's what you do is because I can't really remember very well one specific moment or thing that I learned. What I remember and what I gleaned and what is now a part of me is the passion that I was around. Because for 4 years I spent all my time and energy around people and energies that were around loving theater, loving the arts, and that in and of itself was an important education to have. Of course, we're technical things, but the other thing that I'm talking about superseded all that by miles. So I would say for those of you that are putting a lot of stock into needing to go to some place to have some output, life does not work that way, nor should it. And I think it's really what you do, not where. Go for it.
Hi. Okay. First of all, I'm an insane fan of the show. Starfish.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask, what's just one piece of advice you'd give to us? Like, I think most of us are seniors in high school, and going into this art form is hard and it's scary. What would you say to them?
I wish Marcus was here because he said something at the Talkback.
I wonder if he is here.
I met Marcus Choi. I'm so
Yeah.
This wonderful person just asked us like what advice you could give, and I
A lot of seniors.
Yeah, high school seniors.
Something that you said at a Talkback really resonated with me. Could you talk more about, like, you said we need you? Could you explain?
Sure. So something that was never told to me when I was coming up is the fact that, like, the younger generation is the lifeline of our industry. We need you guys to show up to make this business continue. We need you as singers, dancers, actors, writers, directors, choreographers, but also stage managers, ushers. Theater goers, supporters of the art. Like, we need your generation. We need you guys to come because this won't exist without you. So like that's something that I wasn't told, but like it's such an easy message to convey because it's so important. Right? So like I'm telling you guys now, we need you.
And Marcus, can I tell us where you went to school?
I went to school in California, and I grew up in Orange County in Fullerton, and I went to the School of Disneyland. Much to my parents' disappointment, I did not go to university, but I was a student of life. I still train and take classes and do all the things to hone my art. And I ended up, my college years were working at Disneyland and navigating the business that way. You were a cast member. I was a cast member. You were cast very early. Yeah.
What did you do?
My first show was, do you guys remember Hunchback? So when Hunchback first came out, they created this huge outdoor venue. It was awesome. It was amazing. It was the best show. And then shortly after that, when Mulan came out, I played Shang.
I thought I had shoot up. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Hi, first off, amazing job. It was so good. Second off, what did college teach you to do this healthily 8 times a week? And what did you wish it taught?
Great.
I will say, I was talking earlier about the passion and being around it. I think this is the longest I've been in any show, which is funny to say, in my life I've been in so many productions of things, I've lost track of the number, but I certainly noticed that, I've done this process, and at least with some people take rehearsal and technical, many times, just not at this level for this long. So I would attribute just the sort of wherewithal of just committing to something from just the repetition of doing it a lot in college. Again, that is, it's not so much the actual things that I learned in the classroom, it's just that college and universities as a whole, college system allow for repetition to happen a lot, which is unlike what will happen in the real world unless you're very, very lucky to always be jumping from job to job. In your university setting, you put on a show, jump to this thing, and you can become the master of your own destiny, which is something I highly encourage wherever you go, whether you do just go to the city or you go to university, like you can just make stuff and do stuff when you're supported by a lot of academic systems. So really, I would say embrace that because it's a lot harder to get into the real world. So for me, personally, I think it was because I had, actually I'll tell you exactly what really helped me. We both had to do it. I worked in nearly every single category of what a theater can work in. I worked in the box office, I worked in front of house, I did sound, I sewed costumes, I was an usher in the Michigan Theater for 4 years. I've done it all, and so I'm really grateful that this is a team sport. Like it's full stop. Everybody is given something, and it's really important to know what all those avenues are to create a giant elevate growth. So that's one thing for me. I think that was good for college because I don't know if I would have been encouraged to do that otherwise.
Yeah, vocal health was something that I had no idea about. I was like probably losing my voice every other week because I wasn't sleeping in high school because your bell rings at 6:30, but you're coming back from tech week, you're doing all this work, and like there's just no time to sleep. So vocal health was really huge. And
Sorry.
vocal health was huge. McElroy actually taught me at school was you can't wait for somebody to pluck you out of the back. Like I did something called Broadway Our Way my freshman year, and I was so eager, and I knew all of my music, and I was such a can-do attitude student, but I was sitting in the back because I was a freshman, and I thought, well, all the seniors are probably there, like everyone else belongs way more than I do, and I'm just gonna kind of hide, and then if somebody notices me, then I guess I, have what it takes. But he noticed that I was like singing everything full-chested and like so front-footedly, but I decided every day to like sit in the back. He said, throughout my time there, she became the chair, and he amazing. He was like, no one's going to come and find you. You have to sit in the front row. If you know your shit, sit in the front row and like be eager and be front-footed. Like nobody is coming to like find you. And unfortunately, that's like kind of what I thought. That I was like, oh well, maybe the talent or maybe the this or that will happen, and you can't really ever replace diligence and a good heart and like sitting in the front row and not trying to be like, well, actually, I know what I'm talking about. It's not that energy. It's like I'm showing up and I know I can do a good job, and I don't have to hide. Like I don't have to hide that that's true. So there's a balance there, right? Like you don't want to be stepping on other people and stepping and expanding so far that you like backing up all the space that's around you. I think there's a balance, but there's also there's no benefit to hiding your life.
I would say there's also, this is probably true for every profession. I know we have many different types of people here, but you have to be very skilled at what you do, and you also have to be available and be in a place where the jobs are, and then you have to be a good person with a strong community behind you. And I think a lot of young people graduate from school with a lot of nerves about how they're going to make it and how they're going to impress people who are already in the business. Casting directors, producers, directors. And the truth is, a lot of work that you get, whether you're an actor, designer, director, stage manager in the theater business, comes from your peers. So going to a school where you feel like you belong, and you can actually create authentic relationships with people and build a community, that community will sustain you moving forward, because those are the people that are actually going to be your peers for the longest. And if you can't do a job and someone says, well, do you know anyone? Immediately you'll turn to those people in the closest circle around you, and that's how we actually get great work. And the only way you're going to build an authentic community is if you are a kind-hearted person. And Marcus has a lovely thing that he likes to say about this, but the truth is all of us really believe this. We've cultivated a really beautiful backstage environment here, and it's allowed us all to get to know each other really well and be our most genuine, authentic selves. But I do think that all of us were picked for our jobs based on recommendations and referrals and vetting from other people, that we are good people, that we are good to work with, that we are, for a team sport, good collaborators. And so I suggest you find your way towards being your best collaborator.
I know I've been saying a lot of stuff. I'm sorry, this is just chatting Kathy, but I want to answer something you said. Also something you asked, which is like, what do you wish you had known? And also something that's a general piece of advice. It's actually a more pragmatic thing that I'm about to say. If you guys have student IDs, especially when you go to college, by your senior year, lose it and renew it. So it can be for as long as possible.
I have 2027.
The reason why I encourage you to do this is because places like this, and places around New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, other discount. It's a racket. We're not proud of it. We do our best to mitigate the obscene prices that may happen. Commercial theater. But even for things that are not as flashy, it might be a smaller number. You can get even a smaller number because of your student discount. So that would be a piece of advice. But at the same time, while you're in college, you are surrounded by culture that you've never otherwise been around. Heritages and languages and traditions that you otherwise wouldn't have been. Because I love musical theater, but I've never seen a symposium on Congolese dance. Go. It's free, it's accurate, it's full of people. It's surrounded by people who are cultivating your mind, your spirit, and your heart, which will only help you when you leave. Some of the best things that ever happened from Michigan, other than that passion for theater we're talking about, is when I left, I saw everything. I saw every play, every musical, every performance, every jazz concert. He still does. And I go, I'm nuts for it. Because what has happened over and over again is some people are like, oh, we're doing a reading of this play, you know? And I go, yeah, I saw it in college, actually. And or do you, you're going to read for this part, it's this jazz musician, you know? Yeah, I saw a tribute to him, actually. My senior year, my buddy did a concert. So there was just stuff along the way. I collected so much information and culture that is just bleeding from the walls of a lot of academic institutions that we swept away from you as soon as you graduate, like, without paying a hefty sum. So if you have to pay for a student discount, you don't have to experience culture in college. Okay. Yes, sorry, you went to school.
Hi, my name is Duron. I live in Yale, Berlin. I went to Yale University.
One right there. Yes. You.
Hi. Fantastic job on the rep right now. Is there anything that people said to you during the audition process for college, or just like auditions for shows in general that really struck with you when you were our age and just learning about it today?
I'll say something really quickly that always sticks with me. A lot of times when you audition for stuff, it's normally like a production that has already been created. So you're going in for like West Side Story or Music Man or something, right? So don't ever feel like that you have to do what somebody else has already done, because there's only one you. So nobody can do what you do. So like, be your authentic self. Within the realm of the role, right? Within the casting of the role. But like, just know that what you do and what you bring to whatever audition is enough.
We have one more question. Yes.
Hi. Oh my God, sorry, I'm like kind of shaking. I just want to say thank you guys for being such inspirations. First of all, like, this is a crazy process, and like just seeing a show like this really like reminds me like why I'm here and what I'm doing it for. Also, Darren, I've looked up to you for so long, so this is really crazy right now that you're here.
Very short, so.
So I'm like, wow. Okay. Anyway, my question is, how like was the transition from college to being in the real world and finding your way? Trying to get jobs, and like, did college help with any of that? Whether it's Michigan or any of the schools you guys went to, did they kind of help you in that transition, or was it something you kind of had to figure out?
How many people here are in college? Or all college?
All about to go to college. Some juniors in high school.
A couple
Well, the reason why I ask is because, do you guys remember when you were freshmen and like there was this sense of like, oh man, I gotta like, you know who your people are, you know where stuff is. Where you're at right now, you kind of know the lay of the land. You know how to get from point A to point B. You know people. You've been through lots of certain people in certain places, but you have a comfort level of like what's up in your ecosystem. That will inevitably happen to you in college, and that ecosystem will be the same ecosystem that is going out into the real world. So, per things we already said, I think if you manage to accrue a community of people that you love and love you, those are the people that you're going to be leaning on when you leave college. And one question I get from performers in the arts or studying the arts on an academic level, they're always like, which city should I move to? And like my answer is always the same: go to where your friends are. If you are going to subscribe yourself to a life of ludicrous disappointment, high highs, inconsistency, frustration, all these wacky things that come with the insane goal of being an artist for a living, you might as well be around your friends. Like, you cannot stress this enough. If they're in Atlanta, like go. You want to be like 15 to 10 minutes away from a friend on a Tuesday night to go see that movie when you're sad or when you need a friend to talk to. Because that adds up in 5-6 years. And those are the people that you say, hey, I'm doing the show, can you film my audition? Being around your friends is invaluable for how insane this lifestyle is. So I think that will inevitably happen to you because you're people, and I think people tend to find their people quickly, hopefully, if not in 4 years' time. So I think that transition will reveal itself in a way that you probably can't think of right now, but I would like to compare it to where you were at now compared to where you were freshman year. That will happen again, except with a wiser, older person.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, a big thank you to them.
Just head out past Ann and our ushers to the lobby. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.